everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Shift. My name is Kamisha Whitaker-Moore, and I am joined by my co-host and friend, Amanda Saganaro. Woo! This is episode number 2 for us.
Yes.
Super excited about this thing. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into the conversation. Amanda, tell us what we're talking about today.
Well, we're going to continue talking about relationships.
All right.
Because it's a hot topic these days.
It is. It is. It is. Ugly
it
ones, nice ones, good ones. Why we in ones that we should not be in, and how can we escape? Okay.
Yeah.
All of the things.
All of the things.
That's true.
And one of the things lately that has just really been coming to mind is men and women in general
Mhm.
and the differences between them and just trying to find that person
Right.
that is meant for us because
Mhm.
everybody has their person.
Right.
Is finding them.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as I stated in the last episode, in really looking at what I wanted and was praying what I wanted, God revealed things to me.
Mhm.
And part of that came from Proverbs, when I believe it is Proverbs 15:1 and 17:1 is
Mhm.
talking about a nagging wife.
Oop.
Yes, and how it's, much better to live like on the roof than with a nagging wife.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's better to have a dripping faucet or ceiling in the rain than having a nagging wife.
Honey, you hear me?
And I was like, oh, I'm a nagger. I'm like, I'm a nagger. Like, that's what he kept pointing out. I'm a nagger.
Don't you just love it when God point out some things to you
Yes.
that you
And
don't
I
want to
was,
know?
and at first I was like, surely not.
Yeah.
And then, as the more, I have my quirks.
Yeah.
I can't help it. We all have our quirks.
We do.
And part of what helped me realize it was my kids
Mm-hmm.
because, well, I have grandkids, 4 of them.
Mhm.
They are my heart
I
and
know it.
soul. I mean,
Mhm.
if I could have skipped them kids and went to them grandkids, I would
know.
have.
Isn't it
'Cause
different?
they the best.
I totally get it.
But my grandkids can come to the house and they can pretty much do whatever they want to do as
Mhm.
long as it's not going to hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
But they can destroy my house from one end to the other. They can have shoes, clothes, snacks, everything all over the place.
Mhm.
And it doesn't bother me.
Right.
But my kids would, I would spank their butts.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you got to clean this up. You got to clean your room, all of these things. And I would nag because I have this shocking, I have a control issue when it comes to certain things. And one of those things is I like to have my house clean.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
And I want things in a certain order, in a certain way. And if it wasn't that way, I would nag about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, pick up your shoes, do this, do that. I'm like, why am I the only one taking out the trash?
Yeah.
All of these things.
Sure.
And in looking back and reflecting over my my failed marriage, actually marriages, unfortunately, yes, there's 2 sides to those stories, some
Mhm.
things that happened. But I was like, what was my part in that?
Yeah.
And part of it was I nagged a lot about things
Yeah.
because there were things that I didn't like.
Mhm.
And instead of just saying my piece and having a conversation about it, I would nag on it. I would just keep nagging on it. And so I was like, what you telling me,
Yeah.
Jesus? Like, what you telling me here? And he was like, really? It wasn't clear. Stop nagging. Figure out, is it really matter?
Yeah.
And so it made me start asking the question, is this really something worth nagging over?
Right.
Is this really something that is building the relationship, building God's kingdom, or is it tearing it down?
Right.
And it made me start asking that question about other things as well.
Mhm.
Is this really something that is building his kingdom, or is it tearing it down?
Mhm.
And so I started looking at other things because I was like, okay, well, what's the other side of that?
Right.
What's the male version of that? If it's bad to live with a nagging wife, like
Yeah.
what's it bad to live with on a
A
man's
nagging
side?
husband.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Well, yeah, a nagging husband, but also one that is not leading, protecting,
Right.
respecting, and
Mhm.
understanding.
Right.
So I'm gonna ask you the question:
Oh.
What is your pet peeve in a relationship with a man?
Being being lied to.
Oh,
That is one of the things that I cannot. Oh my gosh. I don't want to deal with. I feel like I don't have to deal with.
Mm.
I don't like being lied to. Honestly, girl,
It's bad.
you
I
can
get it.
you can shake me, okay? I don't hit me. You can shake me. You can even say, "Girl, get out of my face." Go somewhere and sit down with a whole tone. But when you come and you lie to me, and you look me dead in my eyes and you lie to me, no, I lose all of it. I, it's done. It's the last for me. I cannot. I cannot. I cannot. I cannot. I can pretty much
Lies take away
forgive
trust.
everything. Yes.
So, and I get it. I 100% get it. And so for men, they're supposed to have understanding
Mhm.
and they're supposed to love and respect and protect
Mhm.
the woman. Because as it turns out, I believe it's First Peter. I think it's First Peter.
Girl, open up that word.
I'm gonna have to look because I
Look
think
and
it's First
see.
Peter because I have my Bible here today because this is what this is about. This is about Jesus, so I
Mhm.
have it. I'm pretty sure it's First Peter. Yes, First Peter, chapter 3, verse 7. It says, "Husbands, in the same way, be considerate as you live with your wives, and treat them with respect as the weaker partner and as heirs with you of the gracious gift of life, so that nothing will hinder your prayers."
Mhm.
And so when I first read that, I was like, okay, so weaker sex. And so I started like diving into that.
Mhm.
And women are physically weaker than men.
Mhm.
That's what that means.
Right.
It has nothing to do with anything else other than our physical being
Mhm.
because we are built to be weaker.
Right.
If you go head to head with the man, you're going to lose
Right.
because you're supposed to.
Mhm.
And so if they are protecting you and they're loving you and doing all the things they're supposed to do, what makes us nag? Why are we nagging?
Right.
If they're doing what they're supposed to be, why is it nagging?
Right.
Because we're complicated beings.
Well, we're definitely wired different.
Women are very, very complicated. And I'm just gonna tell you, I feel bad for men. Why do I feel bad for men? Because they have to deal with us being complicated beings
I understand that.
and the way we're wired.
But I understand. I agree with some and I do disagree with some. I'm gonna tell you why.
Please
And this
do.
is not even like going against the Bible part. I don't feel sorry for some men because sometimes men they'll put themselves in that situation, and this is why you get the nagging wife. I don't
I
think
can agree with that.
I don't think that we go into a relationship or into a marriage being a nagger. I don't
Agree.
think that we go into, hey, I love you. I think we go into, oh, I love you. We're going to make this work. We're going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to be the best wife ever. We go into our relationships like this, but then something happens. And then here we are with the nagging part. Oh my gosh, she just nags all the time. But what did you do? Okay. And then all of a sudden the guys are like, or the wives are like, oh my God, oh he is so complicated. But what did you do? So I don't think we go into the relationship being a nagger, but I feel as if something or some type of unnecessary or a wrong turn made me that way
I can agree with that.
or made you that way. So I'm all with I'm gonna be the best wife ever, but somewhere you lost me, okay? And then I became the little nagging lady, and I get it.
So with that though, have you ever had to stop and think of why am I truly nagging about this? What's the
Yes,
root of the problem?
yes,
Because I do think that as we are dealing with whatever it is that is nagging us, sometimes if we deal with the root of it, we
Mhm.
realize that it had nothing to do with them to begin with.
This is true. Sometimes,
Sometimes, not all the time, because sometimes it's because what they did.
right?
And I 100% agree with that. But sometimes the reason why I say they have to deal with complicated because they get like they're fixers. They want to
Right.
fix the problem,
Mm-hmm.
but they can't fix it because we don't even know what it is.
True.
And so it's like, okay, I'm nagging at you, and I'm frustrated at you, but you didn't even ask me what was wrong.
Right.
And I'm like, but how did they know that?
This is
Because
true.
it's just something I've learned over the years is men are target focused
Mhm.
and they want to fix it.
Right.
By nature, they want to fix it. But sometimes we don't want them to fix it.
We just want you to sit here right here
We
and
just
just
want you to
listen.
listen.
That's it.
And then sometimes we want you to fix yourself.
That part, okay.
Fix yourself.
I'm like
You
my
know,
daughter.
it is. It's
Yes.
one of those things we want you to fix yourself.
Yeah.
But I have also, so let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
If you are in a relationship, when do you see communication breaking down?
Um, so I'm just gonna go off of me personally. So if I'm in a relationship, I think that things are going well. Communication is at an all-time high. We're good to go. Once I get that first lie, communication for me stops. It stops. And I'm not gonna say no one else is at fault. I'm at fault for that because I stop. It's just like something in me will not allow me to push forward because I'm like, first of all, I need to dissect that whole lie. I need to understand what what part of this whole conversation that I'm missing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Whether you're lying by omission, whether you just flat out lied, it doesn't make sense in my brain. So therefore, I have to make it make sense to me. And with that being that way and how I am, I just stop. I'm just like, whoop, until I understand really what's going on in the full story of why all production stops. Everything stops. And am I wrong? Probably so. But in my mind, I have to understand number one, what really happened. And then number two, why did you feel the need to lie to me and not just be honest with me? Because we could have got past this 15 years ago. Okay. So because you lied to me and I still don't have the truth, I'm still like, what? I'm confused. You lied to me once, you're gonna lie to me again. We could have fixed this a long time ago if you just had told me what's going on. So that's me with my communication. Once you lie to me, communication from me is like it's barely there because I don't understand what you're telling me. Because I'm like, are you lying to me about this too? So I don't give it to you. I'm just like, whatever.
So, do you think all lies are the same or are some lies worse than others?
No, I think some lies are worse than others, but all lies are lies. I do not care what it is. If you cheated on me, tell me that you cheated on me. Let me move past this if I need to, but let me process it in my mind and in my head so that I can either forgive you or move on. But the thing about it is, when you continue to lie, I continue to have less faith, less doubt, more doubt, and less faith in that we will ever fix
Well,
anything.
because at that point it becomes a pattern.
It does.
Because one lie you can forgive,
Hmm.
maybe two,
Hmm.
but 20,
Yeah.
that's a
It
pattern.
honestly depends on what the lie is too. So if you
True.
cheated on me, I'm just like,
That's a little different beast.
it is.
That
But if
that's
you lied to me and said, "Hey, what happened to my candy bar?" It's like, I don't know. I know you ate it. You know what I'm saying? And I can get over that one because I'm like, "Oh, you such a liar. Please don't die and go to hell." Okay, so I'm just like, that's just a candy bar. But
it's a
with
candy bar.
yeah, but anything else, I'm just like, You know, I cannot. I don't understand. So make me understand that, and let's try to move past it. And I think that's just me. That's where my hiccup is. And I know that about myself. And so I've worked on me and I'm working on it. So, I mean, I'm not perfect. I don't know have the right answer. I just know, like you said, I'm saved by grace. And if God has given me grace, sometimes we can show grace to other people. But honestly, it really depends on what that is.
Well, in Matthew, it
Mm-hmm.
tells us to forgive not
Mm-hmm.
7 times,
Mm-hmm. 7 times.
yes,
You're
but
right.
7 times 77. Like you're supposed to just continue to forgive.
Right.
And that's hard for us as humans
Right.
because we're really hurt
Right.
and we can't forget.
Right.
That's the problem.
This is true.
It's that we can't forget.
This is true.
And so once you lie to us, it's almost like we continue to keep score.
Right.
But when you look at it, love does not keep record of wrongs.
You're
It
absolutely
doesn't
right.
tally things. And so at some point, it's almost like you have to look at the person and say, okay, is this a pattern? Yes or no? Is this something that I can continue to forgive, or what's happening? Because at this point, this person needs a heart change.
Right.
Because if they're lying every other day, then obviously they need a heart change.
Right.
There's something has to give, because I mean, if the truth sounds better and you're still lying, like, why are you doing that? Like,
Right.
stop it. But if we are supposed to continue to forgive, and it's not just lies, let's say it's something else and they lied to us, but they're not lying to us anymore. Now it's something else.
Mm.
And through the relationship, those we love most have the most power to hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
And that hurt always cuts so deep, because it's
Sure.
the person that it's people that we love the most.
Right.
And but your enemy can't hurt you. I mean, they
Right.
can, but it doesn't inflict the same wound as if it's the person or people that you love.
Right.
And so with them, it's like, okay, I'm going to forgive, but as we move forward, you still can't forget what they did,
Right.
because it's still nagging. And so the human and the fleshly side of us is like, okay, well, they did this, I'm going to tally it.
Right.
I've marked it,
Mhm.
because what does the enemy actually do? Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy.
Destroy.
And men and women were put on this earth to multiply, to love God, grow his kingdom, all of these things. So when you have a covenant relationship with a man or woman and God, where is Satan going to attack you the hardest?
Right.
At that, in your marriage.
Mhm.
And because he's like, no, if I can dwindle this, then I can keep the kingdom from growing,
For sure.
because your family is your first and foremost ministry. And so he wheedles his way in every chance he can to cause discourse and chaos in your relationship. And you have to become a united front of, you know what, there is a problem, but it's not you, it's not me, it's the problem.
Right.
And so it's communicating those things together to say, okay, this is the problem, let's work on it together, instead of you're the problem or I'm the problem. This is the problem.
Right.
It's this thing. What is causing this, and how can we fix it? But our fleshly side, every time it happens, we tally it. Well, you did this. Well, you did it. Well, do you remember when you did this?
Right.
Do you remember when you ate that candy bar?
This is true.
So, but the thing with forgiveness that Jesus was trying to teach us was that the moment you remember, forgive again.
Right.
And you go to God with it and you say, God, this has come back into my heart and this is how I'm feeling. Please help me through this. Help me take it away so that I am not reliving the same thing over and over, and essentially cutting myself with that butter knife
Right.
over and over and over. And so when we do that, that's how, and then at some point, once you capture those thoughts, just like we're told in the Bible, our thoughts are not our own.
Mhm.
And we're supposed to capture those thoughts that are not of God. And so as they're coming to us and we capture them and we're like, oh, okay, God, this is coming back up. Not today, Satan. You're
Mhm.
not playing in this field.
Right.
I am on a road, and yes, there are going to be minefields and all of these things everywhere. But today, God has marked my path, and you're not taking me from it. You're not coming into my mind. You're not going to poison me against that. It's said and done. I have forgiven him. I'm forgiven again, and I'm moving forward. It's capturing those thoughts to say, I'm not doing this. I'm going to keep forgiving. And at some point, when you realize it's coming through, Satan will finally say, you know what? She ain't taking the bait. I'm moving on.
Right.
And then the true forgiveness is there, and it doesn't even come back anymore. And I've had to do that with some people in my life, not just my relationships that were intimate with my husbands and stuff like that, but not different times. I
Mhm.
realized how that sounded when I said it.
Girl.
But with my husband, I didn't always do that. I kept the record, and I used it as ammunition. But even besides them, there are other people in my life that it took me a long time, because, oh girl, I could hold a grudge like nobody's business.
What? I'm gonna tell a story when you're done. Go ahead.
I could hold a grudge like nobody's business. Like, I could truly, like, you could talk to me and and my face would tell you I don't like you. Like,
Mm.
I don't want anything to do with you. Um, but I had to come to a place of, you know what? It's not worth to hold it on, because it took more of my energy to hold on to that grudge and that anger than just letting it go and just soak up all the joy and the love that God could give me. And so I just encourage everyone to try it, to take that path of, you know what, but you have to truly forgive. You can't just say, "Oh, I forgive you." No, you have to truly forgive and work to let it go. Because if you don't, well, it's not good for anybody.
This is true. So we were talking about that in church on Sunday. We were talking about the pastor at the time, Elder Brown. We were talking about forgiving and and letting things go. Because basically, he was telling us when God said that he forgave, and when he did forgive, he threw it in the sea, and he
Mhm.
remembered no more. And so we're supposed to be that way. And so sometimes we say that we forgive people, and I'm gonna speak for me. I'm gonna speak for myself. Sometimes I said I've forgiven someone about a situation, but then when I talk about that situation, it brings up bad feelings, or
Mm.
I get like super emotional about it, because or I get angry because I really haven't forgiven them. I said that I did, but I continue to like let it fester, and then I'm angry and all of the things. And so I'm like, I have truly not forgiven that person about this situation. And so I have to work on myself and to do it, because I know that forgiveness is, God
It's hard.
requires. It is hard, but it is required, because we have to do those types of things. Because if we hold on to every hurt, every disappointment, every situation that we didn't like, we will be miserable people. And we will walk around here not even wanting to talk about how good God is, or trying to walk the walk that in Christ and all of the things, because we're so heavy loaded down with anger, pain, hurt, and all the things, because we refuse to forgive. And so once we learn that, and once we do that like totally and completely, God can kind of he can come in and start moving some things around. And he kind of shifts your attitude about that person, because even though you did me so wrong and so dirty, I forgive you. And I can say, "Hey girl, how you doing?" Or I can be like, "Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning." And I can do all of those things, because number one, I've forgiven you. I let all of that go, because you're not going to take power away from me, because I don't have to give it to you. And number one, I'm not responsible for how you treat me.
We're not.
I'm responsible for how I treat you.
And how can we expect to be forgiven if we don't forgive?
This is
And
true.
a lot of people don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when you forgive people, you don't even have to tell them. You don't even have to get an apology,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of times the forgiveness that we give never came with an apology.
Right.
And this also will happen with your spouses,
Mm-hmm.
your children,
Mm-hmm.
anybody in your life. You are giving forgiveness without ever receiving an apology. But the forgiveness is for you.
True.
And people don't understand that I can forgive you and I can still talk to you and do all the same things. But that's when you shine the light of Jesus, is when you're able to forgive them and move on and do all of these things. And they're just looking at you like, huh?
Yeah.
Especially when they know they did you wrong.
Yeah. That girl
And,
just
or
go
they
ahead.
know they were wrong.
Yeah.
Because I mean, as long as you're forgiving them and you're walking authentically
Mm-hmm.
with Jesus and you are his true disciple, people will see him shining through you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're walking around and you've not forgiven anybody and you're holding on to all of this anger and all of this frustration, and that's what you're giving out into the world, but yet all over social media and everywhere else, you're talking about how you love Jesus and all these
Mm-hmm.
things. No, no, that contradicts
Yeah.
what you're saying you're doing. And people are like, this is why I have a problem with going to church,
Yeah. For sure.
because this is where you see the hypocrites at,
Yeah.
because you're saying you believe in Jesus, you love him, you're a Christian, but yet you're not walking the same way. And so for me, I actually had a really good conversation not too long ago about forgiveness, and it came to a point to where not only myself but this other person was just like, you know what, it's just easier to forgive and let it go,
Yeah.
because it's gets heavy carrying the burden.
Yeah. you notice when you don't forgive someone, then you notice a change in yourself because
Yes.
I notice a change in myself. I'm no longer happy. I'm like always like thinking about stuff. My face is like tore up. I got a frown on my face. And I was like, oh, I don't live in this world. I don't live in this land of unforgiveness. I gotta get up out of here. And so once you do that, then you have that smile back on your face. You're good to go. You do all the things because you've forgiven. So crazy, crazy, crazy story. Years ago, this one particular person that I knew, and I can say this, I love this person, right?
Mhm.
I love this person. I thought that we were good, so good. You know, I consider her my family. I considered all of the things. But this particular person did something that really like hurt me to my core. Like I would have never, ever, ever thought that this would even happen. And so you live and learn.
Mhm.
Well, when I found out, I was so upset about it to where I'm just like, huh, I would never speak to this person again. You won't catch me like, girl, you could be on the side of the road in rain and you would stay right there, right? So that was my attitude. And so one day I was walking into this building and I saw this person and God said, ask for forgiveness. And I was like, ain't. Just like ain't. Okay. Not I am not. Ain't. Number one, I didn't do anything to you. I did not do
Ah,
anything to you. But God clearly spoke to me to ask for forgiveness. Do you know how my eyes are already big? Do you know how like bigger they got?
trust me, I get it because when the Holy Spirit tells you to do something, I will argue. I'm like, no, uh-uh.
Amanda,
He's like, yes.
I was like, wait, hold on. What? Do
Yeah.
who? You know? And so I walk in, and so I knew that I had to do this. I knew God was telling me to forgive. And so in order to forgive, I asked for forgiveness. And even though I did nothing wrong to you because I considered you to be like, you know what I mean?
I
You are
do.
here with me. And so I said, hey, I want to say that I'm sorry. I want to ask for forgiveness because I acted very poorly. You didn't know about it, but I acted very poorly. And I'm asking for forgiveness. And so the person was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I knew that they did. And so I was like, huh. But I was like, so regardless, I want you to forgive me because I acted poorly. And in my mind and in my heart, you were all kind of evil. But I have got to ask for forgiveness. And so when I did that, Amanda, all of that anger, all of that hurt, all of that pain that I
It just
felt,
melted away,
it
didn't it?
went away. It went away. And I will say this, we started even communicating a little bit better, but then something else happened. So then I'm like, okay, but God will have you to apologize to people that you've never done wrong, but people who do you wrong. And you know that they've done you wrong, and they know that they've done you wrong. But sometimes He will make you go and say, hey, Amanda, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have acted this way. I shouldn't have rolled my eyes. I shouldn't have done whatever the case may be. Will you please forgive me? And God made me do that. And I let it go. And I was done with it at that point. And I
So
felt better.
sometimes I look at that as I'm having to apologize because I judged them
Yes.
and I
In my
judged them
mind. Oh,
I judged
yes.
them harshly. So even
Very much
though I
so.
may not have there may have been a situation where I may not have done them wrong, in a way I did because I
My
judged
mind,
them because
my
of the
heart.
thoughts.
Hmm.
And if someone possibly would have said something to me, I could have said something back because it's called gossip.
Yeah.
So I could have said something or done something, and so I'm having to apologize for my behavior after the fact
Girl, you know
for
what?
judging
This is
when I
true.
shouldn't have.
This is so true. There's been some times to where I find myself like saying a couple things or whatever the case may be because I'm out of anger because I'm mad. I was like, I know she didn't. You know, how dare you? And then I have to go back and I'm like, hey, listen, I was upset with you. You didn't even know anything about it. I want you to forgive me. If I've ever said or done anything to hurt you that you knew about, I'm asking for forgiveness. All the things that you didn't know about, I'm asking for forgiveness. I've done that. multiple times because when I said it, I was quickly convicted about what my thoughts and what I said. And so I had to go back and forgive. So I try not to act on my emotions, but as a human, I missed the mark. You know what I'm saying?
And
But
also
I
as a woman, because we
right,
we react out of our emotions way more than men do.
we do.
We really do.
We do, but I try not to because I know that sometimes making emotional decisions are really bad decisions, and
Mhm.
sometimes you just gotta kind of think things through and kind of go from there. But it's just it's a crazy thing, but not so much because I feel honored that God is like, hey, no, ma'am, that's not what we're gonna
Man, when you have discernment and the Holy Spirit
do.
living inside you, like he will convict you.
Yeah,
And I
quick.
think a lot of people feel condemnation, not realizing, no, you're getting convicted
Yeah.
because you've done something and you need to apologize for it.
Mm-hmm.
Have there been times I've done something wrong and not apologized? Oh, you better believe it. But I also know that I should have, and I didn't. And I struggle with that. But then when God's like, no, you have to apologize. I'm like, no, why? Because that made, oh, why? And he's like, it's called humble yourself
Yeah.
and do it
Mm-hmm.
because this is how you show that you are wrong. And this is how you're going to show my love to people because you have to ask forgiveness. You were wrong. You were wrong. So you have to own it.
Right.
And as humans, we struggle with that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why it's so hard to just say, you know what, Kim, I was wrong. I'm sorry.
It's pride.
It
It's a
is.
lot
And
of
pride is
pride.
such a big sin. Like we shouldn't even, we shouldn't. We
We
really
should not,
shouldn't.
but
But we
honestly, we are
do.
very prideful people. And
Mm-mm.
so pride will get you killed. Pride will get you in the gateways of hell. Pride will get you like with no wife, no husband, anything. Pride is a dangerous thing. It's crazy, but it's a lot of pride and ego. So, if this is how we're going to do, sometimes you got to suck it up,
I
buttercup,
have
and keep it
heard it
going.
say before that if you start looking at some of the things that you're doing and you look at the sin that you're doing or that you're committing, a lot of times pride is the start of it.
Mhm.
And I'm like, And I actually remember writing it down in my notes. And I went back and I was like, every time that I've looked at something that I was like, oh, it was pride.
Yeah.
And so
Mhm.
it's hard to, especially with a spouse or someone you're in a relationship with. I don't know why, but we want to be right.
Yeah.
We want the last word. We
Mhm.
want to win the argument. And sometimes you have to apologize, even though you didn't do anything wrong, to open the door to forgiveness and the conversation, just to say, you know what? I'm going to own it.
Yeah.
I'm going to own it. I'm going to take responsibility so that we can just put it behind us and move forward.
True.
Even and I think that's what you do sometimes because I've seen you do it.
Yeah.
Like you may not be the one that does it, but you're going to own it just because you want to move past it.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I
I
will in
mean,
a minute.
if you think about it, that's what Jesus did.
Yeah.
He owned every sin of every person in the world,
Good.
and he took it to the cross, the most brutal death that anyone could face for anybody. Jesus did it. And when you read about it, it's hard to imagine a man that would just, and mind you, a man that could have saved himself.
For sure.
He didn't have to, but he did
Mhm.
because he was obeying the will of God
Right.
and doing what he needed to do to
For all of
save
us.
all of us.
True.
And the death that he had was the most horrific, humiliating death that he could have had. And he bore every sin that every person, past, present, and future, could ever have.
Mhm.
And it was a gift freely given to us.
True.
And when you look at it, why can I not humble myself and say, you know what? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I did this and I was wrong. And this man died for us.
True.
He gave us the gift that we could not ever earn on our own. And that gift of salvation and truly getting to know him and having the relationship with him, it's it's been a center of the relationships that I want going forward.
Mhm.
Because I want a man to love me like Jesus does.
Yeah.
And because that's the way it tells them to in the Bible. Like there is scripture in the Bible that a husband is supposed to love his wife like
God
Christ
loves
loved
the
the
church.
church.
True.
And but in respect to that, I also need to love him as Christ loved the
For
church.
sure.
And so it's one of those things that it truly makes me think of when I am wrong, I'm going to have to humble myself and admit it. And I'm going to have to apologize for it or admit that I'm wrong or whatever it looks like.
Mhm.
Because if I don't, what does that say?
Yeah.
You know, it really, when you start diving into and you look at, because there was at one point in my life that I was the lowest of lows. And I was talking to a friend of mine, dear friend. I consider her a sister. Like
Mhm.
I can't speak highly enough of this person. And I was talking to her and I told her, I said, I was just lashing out and I dumped it all on Jesus. Like, it was funny because I told her, I said, I kind of had to come to Jesus with Jesus,
Mhm.
like I was angry and I was hurt, but I came to him because I didn't know what else to do.
Right.
So I came to him and I was lashing out at him and I was just pouring it all out on him because I was angry and I was hurt. And even though I had basically put myself in the situation, my feelings were still my feelings.
Right.
And she said, Amanda, he took them because he had already taken.
Right.
No lashes you could give him now or any that he hasn't already felt because
Mhm.
he's already taken them.
Right.
And I just stopped dead in my tracks because I was like, oh my gosh, like that was good.
Yeah.
Like that's so true because and he wants us to come to him in those times because who better to come to than him than to go to Bobby down the road or Susie and start telling them all of these things when what are they going to do?
True.
And then I'm hurting possibly their relationship with the person or whatever, or they're going to tell me what I want to hear because they care about me. But when I take it to God and I give it to him and I just lay it at his feet and I'm like, Jesus, I just need the hem of your garment right now. I just need to touch the hem of your garment. I just need to feel your presence. I need you to help with the situation. He's going to give me the answers
Right.
and he's going to help me through it. But it's at those moments that you just have to be like, you know what, Jesus, help me to be like you in this moment because I can't, because
Right.
the flesh side of me, I need you to help me to break it down so that I can be obedient and I can show your love to this person.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you, a lot of times it's easier said than done
Oh, for
because of the
sure.
situation. And because I still epically fail on a daily basis.
Oh, we all do.
That's why I need Jesus.
That's right.
And that's why I want to share my Jesus
Right.
but at the end of the day, I know he still loves me
Mhm.
and he's going to help me through whatever it is.
True.
But I also have to be obedient
This is
and I have to humble myself.
honey. How hard is it?
It's very hard.
Yeah.
And I have to apologize. And it's a hard thing to do.
It is, and honestly, speaking on marriages and excuse me, in relationships, um, we're not saying that it's the wife's responsibility to apologize all the time. It's not the husband's responsibility to apologize all the time. You guys need to get together and have conversations regardless and talk things through because honestly, this is what we don't do. We don't
Hmm.
talk things through. We don't put God first in our relationships, in our marriages. We just out here just doing whatever we want to do. And then once we're stuck and once things go sour, then we want God to do all the things. We want to call on him, we want to pray, we want to snot and do all the things. And that's all good because God definitely will come in and help. But how easy is it if you put God at the beginning of your relationship the first time in the beginning? Because if you do those things in the beginning, then this is how you keep a healthy marriage or a healthy relationship. First of all, a healthy relationship with God, then a healthy marriage because it rocks that way because you guys are stronger together because you're doing what God wants you to do and you guys are doing it together. One thing I do remember about my husband and I, we would read our scripture at night before we went to bed, right? We would read our scripture, we would get a good understanding of what that was, and we would pray together. We would join hands at night before we go to bed and we would pray. So those are all types of things in a relationship that you should be doing anyway. And not out here just trying to do whatever you want to do. Well, I'm going to bed. Well, we need to pray. Girl, you can pray by yourself. You know what I'm saying? We need to be doing all of those things together because why would you not? If God is your help and he already said, cast all your cares on me, why would we not? Why would you not? Why would you not take something that is absolutely 110% free and then you don't it doesn't work out for you because you're not using your free service, but you want to go and do a paid service.
That.
And it's free. And this is all you got to do. So it's a free service that he is offering you every single day. Put me first. I'm not going to charge you nothing. I'm going to give you all
He
of your
paid it.
needs according to my will. He paid the price. He did all the things for you. But yet and still, instead of taking the free service and the free handout, we want to go pay somebody to tell us that, well, y'all need to do this or you need to do this. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it because, honey, sometimes we need it. Take it if you need it. But if God's given you a free service, why would you not take the free?
And it also in the Bible, I believe it's in Proverbs. Um, it talks about don't speak harshly. Um, and a lot of times when we're angry, we speak so harshly to each other. And it clearly
And about each other.
and I'm just gonna tell you, I know a lot of times what's in the Bible, but I don't always remember the chapter and the verse.
Right.
I'm bad about that.
Well,
But
it's okay. People paraphrase all day.
I know, right? But that's why you have to go read it for yourself.
True.
Or I can Google it and
Yeah.
I get close to the verse. But it tells us that don't sin in anger.
Right.
It doesn't say you can't be angry.
True.
It
Just
says don't
sin.
sin in anger.
Right.
So when we feel ourselves getting that angry, why don't we just say, you know what? Let's call a timeout.
That part.
Let's think about it. Let's get to a place to where we can actually communicate and talk about it and then come together to solve the problem. Because I want to understand, but I'm so angry right now because you ate my candy bar that I really want to just take this moment. I want to pray about it. I want to take it to God, and then let's come back together when we're not so angry.
Honey, I'm
But girl,
big
we
with a
can't do
timeout.
that.
I'm big with a timeout. You hear me? I'm gonna call a timeout before I call a tick because I'm like, hey, stop talking to me right now. Let me take a 15-minute break. I need to cool off.
But you know what? How many times as women have we been like, where are you going? Don't walk away from me. I'm trying. But I've learned as I've gotten older, no, you need you need the timeout. You
do.
need to take the break.
You do.
You both need to separate, calm down, and just think it through. Pray about it and then come back together when you are calm
Right.
and can emotionally handle it without getting so worked up.
True.
Because one of I can't remember who it was, but they had said, when I'm angry, I need to be left alone because I've got to cool down because of my reaction. And I'm like, no, I get that. Because for me, when I get angry, I also want to lash out because that's what we do when we're angry.
Absolutely.
But as I said, as I've gotten older, I've learned not to do that. However, when I'm able to come back, I can say, okay, help me to understand why you did this. And I think part of the communication piece that we lack is we listen to respond instead of listening to understand.
True.
And if we can practice that pause, and let me tell you, it has taken me a long time to
That part.
practice that pause. And even now, there are times I do not practice that
I
pause.
totally get
And then
it.
afterwards, I'm like, oh man, why? Why did I open my mouth? I should have just stayed quiet because I've made it worse.
Yes.
And so for me, now I'm like, I am slow to anger
Mm.
because now I will say there are some things that if you push the right button, I'm gonna be quick to anger.
Yeah.
But that typically has to do with my children,
Right.
or my grandchildren. Oh, I'll get you in a heartbeat over them because they are my world. I love them so much. Um, but learning what those buttons are,
Hmm.
and praying, and I have found that I do get angry a lot slower these days, but I can still get pretty angry about it.
Yeah. Me too. I think as I've gotten older, and honestly, and as I've calmed down a lot, and honestly, as I grab a tighter hold of God and my relationship with Him, I do. I'm not gonna say I get angry, I get upset, but I try not to let that show, and then I breathe it on out. I'm like, Lord, whatever you got going on right now, I need you to come over here and give me, hey, listen to me. I need you to listen to me. I need you to come over here and do something for me right now. Help me cool off, cool down, do whatever I need to do, and then we'll continue to move on. And so I've definitely gotten slow to anger, but I still get angry, but I'm slow to do that. You can push a lot of buttons before you make me react. And sometimes I don't even react to you because I'm just thinking that's just, I tell my grandkids, my two grand boys, not all my grandkids, but whenever, if I say that was stupid, he said, Gigi, that's a bad word. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. But I hear acting stupid. And just calm down when people do that. You just like, you just want to be like, well, that was just the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life or even heard. And you get so upset about it. But slow to anger, sin not, I'm telling you, I practice it. I'm not saying that I mastered it, but I practice it every single
Oh,
day.
I've not mastered it. That is
Mm-mm.
for sure. I
I
have not
practice it.
mastered
I
it. I
practice
have
it
my
every
moments.
day. I
I still
practice
have
it.
my moments.
Yeah.
But that is the real piece to it because I will tell my kids I'm not Jesus.
Yeah.
And I'm not. And I fail
Yeah.
every single day just like everybody else. But every day his mercies are new
True.
and I try to be better and more like Jesus the next day than I did the day before.
Right.
Which is why it's a shift of your mindset.
Hmm.
It's starting your day in the Word. It's starting your day with Jesus to get your mind right. And so let me tell you, there's days that when I'm headed to work, I've got my worship music going. I am just going at it. I am singing. I am getting it because I love to worship.
Yeah.
Because that is the one thing we know we are going to do when we get to heaven.
True.
It's the only thing that we know that we can do on earth and that we're going to do in heaven is to worship. And I can feel the Holy Spirit move in some worship.
Hmm.
And it sets my tone for the day. And it's like, God, what do you have for me today?
Hmm.
Who can I show your love to? Or what does that look like? And then by 10:30, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm about to lose my Jesus. And
I've heard you say that a couple
yes,
times. I was like, girl, hold on to him.
yes.
We gonna be all
And
right.
that is when I do. I have to hold on to him tighter. But I've also realized that is a trigger for me. When
Yeah.
I say I'm about to lose my Jesus, that's my wake up call to say, hey, what you need to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And surprisingly, that's why I keep a Bible
Yeah.
on my desk. It's because you know what? If I'm about to lose my Jesus, I'm about to go find him.
Yeah, yeah, you go.
Because I don't want to lose him. And I have enough to repent for at the end of the day. If I can keep from doing something else,
Yeah.
then I need to because I need to capture those thoughts. I need to stop some of those actions. But I don't know. Um it's it was just the shift that God gave for me.
Yeah.
And in the process he has pruned. so many things out of my life.
Yeah.
He has brought so many other things into my life. And I'm good
Yeah.
and I'm happy. And I mean, I can honestly say I have no grudges right now
Yeah.
against anybody, and I've let them all go.
Yeah.
I the hardest thing I had to do was to it wasn't the hardest, but it was one of the hardest. So I'll take that back. It was one of the hardest things that I had to do was to forgive a man that I was married to. He's my ex-husband, and he had physically abused me.
Yeah.
It was one of the hardest things that I had to do, but I had to let it go
Yeah.
because I was like, I'm not carrying that into another area, into another season of my life. It
Right.
was time to let it go.
Right.
And I found that with that, I had fear. And I didn't like living in that fear because at that point I was like, any man that was like in that I could feel intimidation from, I could feel myself getting like where I was like, no, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Like I'm not doing this. Or if I would have seen him somewhere, or I could feel myself just getting into all of these work, all these thoughts and all
Yeah.
these things. And I was like, I can't do this. I
Right.
can't live like this. And so the moment I truly forgave him was the moment all of that went away.
Yeah. I'm telling you, doesn't it work
Like
when you truly let it go?
is so much power in forgiveness.
Yeah, for sure.
And that comes in any relationship, but especially in your marriage.
That's true.
And now I will say I was done with at the one and only time with physical abuse. I was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
So yes, I forgave him after the fact. And I mean, there are different avenues and different things. And if there's a changed behavior, obviously that, you could stay in the marriage, forgive or whatever.
Yeah.
But it depends on the situation. But once I forgave, I was good. Like all of those feelings and everything, like I said, the power was gone. He no longer has any power.
Right.
And so that was one of the things for me in all of my relationships now. It's like, no, the power of forgiveness is strong.
Yeah.
Like it just makes room for so much more.
It does. You are absolutely right about that. Girl, this is like our second podcast, and I feel like the time goes by just like
It does.
this.
It really does.
Because now we're at the end,
We
and
are.
we are getting ready to do our positive for tonight. So someone that's out there in YouTube land, TikTok land, Facebook land, whatever the case may be, what positive would you like to leave with them on tonight? They could be going through a similar situation that you went through. They could be going through a situation right now. They could be having issues with forgiveness. What would you tell him or her that's listening or watching this podcast?
I know forgiveness is hard, and it takes so much more to hold on to whatever it is than it does to forgive. And every time that Satan tries to just bring it back to you, forgive again and let it go. And just watch the freedom that comes to you by forgiving. And just surrender your relationship or whatever it is to God and just let Him work.
Yeah.
Let Him get out of your way and let God work.
This is so true. Get out of the way, because that's our problem. We like to stay in the way. We like to put our own hands in it. And my pastor always says, if you're going to doubt, don't put it down. If you're going to put it down, walk away. Don't pick it back up. So get our hands out of it, and we have to do what we need to do. Let God handle it. My positive on today, honestly, is a little bit of that. If the communication piece we talked about, Amanda talked about forgiveness, and this is definitely one of the things that we definitely need in our marriage for sure. Another thing I feel like we need, honestly, is putting God first. Putting God first in your relationship is so important, because if you don't put God first in your relationship, there's no foundation for you. There's nothing that you're going to gain out of this relationship. sometimes in the first couple of months, whatever, we're so happy, we're so good, we're this, we that. We forget about God. We don't pray. We don't read our Bible anymore. We don't study together anymore. That right there is your foundation. So if we continue to build, we continue to read and pray together and all of the things, the only thing we're doing is becoming stronger. Our household is becoming stronger. God is definitely blessing all the things that we are doing. He's leading us in the right direction because sometimes we get in our own little minds and we get in our own little thoughts and we think that we know better than God. And then we want to be grown and stop the praying part, stop the reading the Bible part, stop the going to church together because now you think that you know more than God. And please, 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 ma'ams and sirs, don't get in trouble with God because He will sit you down, take all the things away, and have you sitting right there. And the only thing that you can do is pick up where you left off, continue to start praying, asking for forgiveness, doing all the things that you need to do. So, again, why would you pay for a service that you get for free? Build your house, take that shift, and join us again for the next episode of The Shift. Anything else you would like to say, Amanda?
When you start that foundation, make sure Jesus is the cornerstone
There you go. Always, always.
always.
You hear me? All right. So until the next time, guys, thank you so much, Amanda.
Thank
We will
you.
see you guys again in 2 weeks.
Yes.
In
2
2
weeks.
weeks. In 2 weeks. So until the next time, peace.